BTL coming at you. Good Wednesday, everybody. Welcome once again to BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Matthew, this week is flying.
Yeah, it's already the end of the week's show, and we've had a full schedule, and we'll continue with our first mid-tournament interview from the Bass Pro Tour. A guy who it sounds like you've become a fan of recently, Mark.
I really have. He's pretty cool. All right. And the thing that really got me interested in Andy was a couple things. One, some of the stories that he has told when I was just standing around and he was talking to other people. But the second thing is, we talked about it earlier this week, his mugshot on the Major League Fishing website.
Was that the catalyst for you to reach out to try to get an Andy Montgomery
And I
interview?
haven't even talked to him yet about it, so we will get into that once we have him on the show here in about 10, 15 minutes. But one of the great storytellers in this business.
Yeah, he's done
he can catch him too.
A great job. You know, the first time I interviewed Andy Montgomery, and there is a connection here.
What is that?
Probably not. It would be his second year as an FLW Tour pro back in his early 20s in 2008 at Fort Loudon Telco.
Really?
He had a 7th place finish the year that I covered the FLW Tour. I remember interviewing him saying, hey, here's a dude who's my age out here.
Do you remember what his jersey was? Can you remember?
I do not remember what his jersey was back then.
But
I do remember that he was one of the young up and coming, stars at the time, because he had a solid season up until that point, and actually he cashed a check in the first 5 events of that year as a young 20-something. Yeah. So I've just kind of vividly remember that. That was like kind of one of the first guys that was my age back then who I was interviewing. I remember thinking, dude, this guy's country.
The dude is really smart. He graduated from Clemson, and he's got an engineering degree.
Yeah,
and he's one of the really, really good personalities.
Used to be really quiet.
Yeah, and he's found his niche.
He blossomed, Mark.
So yes, I am an Andy Montgomery fan. So day one underway yesterday in Raleigh, and KJ Kelly Jordan. Good grief. 80-something pounds? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he found a little something, 82 pounds, 4 ounces, which, I would assume he's probably safe to move on from out of the shotgun round into the elimination round.
I want to talk about this real quick. All right? I'm not going to dive into the fact that he had a heck of a day.
Yeah.
Just an incredible day. I think he caught, 26 fish? I don't even have it pulled up.
26 fish, yeah. Okay. He's ahead of Todd Faircloth by roughly 20 pounds.
Okay, there's 2 things resulting from this. All right. Okay. Number one, kudos to him because he got $500. He didn't even realize that. When you win a round now, I guess you get $500. I saw the graphic on the screen during the live stream. Yes, so he's $500 richer for winning the round. But here's the deal.
2 good stakes for Kelly.
What do you do now? Do you just kind of slide in because you're not fishing on this lake?
I think they go to a different lake for the next round.
Is it just so wait a minute. That would be 4 lakes then.
No, it's 3 lakes. I think maybe the second round and the next round are on the I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
We'll ask Andy, but I think day 2 they're still on Jordan.
I don't know.
We'll ask him. I'm almost positive, could be wrong, but I am almost 99% positive they fish on Jordan again. And then the next round, they go to a different lake. And then the final round, they go to a different lake. I mean, that would only make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What, are you trying to look it up?
Yeah. I don't know.
First round?
I don't know. We'll have to ask Andy Montgomery. There's a simple solution to this question.
Well, the situation is if it is on Lake Jordan, which I think it is, what do? Do you just kind of hang out? I would say that he is comfortably in the top 20. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take this back to an earlier show where I talked about the rankings on Bass Fan. Is that really an indication of elements that would measure who the top angler in the world is?
No. I told you it's not. It's on Falls Lake. The next one.
Okay, so what do they do after that?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. Because each group is on Jordan today.
Oh, they fish Falls twice.
Yeah, then the knockout round is on Falls Lake. I will hand it to MLF. It took a couple clicks, but the website has a very nice. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It explains.
Jordan is done on Jordan.
Yeah, they're done fishing on Jordan. Now they go to Falls Lake. Now the question that you would have to ask is, does Kelly Jordan try to catch fish on Falls Lake, or does he spend the day practicing on Falls Lake because he is so far ahead of the cut line that he will then fish the knockout round on Falls Lake to try to make it to Sharon Harris for the championship round? So you are in the same. What ended up happening was you're in the same predicament that you were in before. Instead of fishing Jordan and catching as much as you can on 2 days, now you're going to have the top guys that are holding back on Falls because they have to fish the knockout round on Falls.
Okay. So, are you sure you're not interpreting that incorrectly? Because Matt is telling us that only on Jordan the first 2 days.
Yeah, the first 2 days. This is day 2. Day 1 was yesterday. Day 2.
No, this is day 1 for Group B.
This is day 2. There's 6 days of competition, Mark. I'm looking at the damn thing right here on the internet. I'm getting pissed off about this because I know I'm right because I'm looking at it. 1, shotgun round, Group A, Jordan Lake. 2, shotgun round, Group B, Jordan Lake. 3, elimination round 1, Group A, Falls Lake.
Okay, I get the 3 lake things. I get that, and I think it's cool. That's one of the intriguing things about this event. But in order to make it to the top 40, you should fish the first 2 days on the same lake.
They're not doing that. 1 day's on Jordan Lake, 1 day's on Falls Lake.
And then the top 20?
No, the top 20 from each, then 40 anglers fish on Falls Lake on day 5.
And then the top 20 fish on the final day.
No, then the top 10 fish. Oh, my God. Then the top 10 fish on the final day, Mark.
Okay.
Do I need to go over it one more time?
No, I think I have it now.
The championship round on Sharon Harris.
Top 10.
Yes, that's day 6.
I get that.
That's on Sunday.
Okay, and that will be the first time that they fish that lake. So they're fishing Falls twice.
Correct.
Okay, I got it.
1 day on Jordan, 1 day on Falls.
I know I'm old and I get a little confused every now and then.
The next one, they call that the knockout round. The top 40 MLF pros, the 20 from Group A, the 20 from Group B, then they fish Falls.
Okay, you're all over it, man. You're right. I'm a little
in the FLW Tour event coming up this week on Grand Lake, they'll fish Grand Lake on day 1, then they'll return to Grand Lake for day 2 with weights accumulating.
Oh, they're not going to Uchi?
On day 3, they cut to the top 30, then they will return to Grand Lake where the weights from days 1 and 2 will carry over to days 3, and then the top 10 will fish on the final day on Grand Lake. The angler with the most weight overall will actually win that tournament, all on Grand Lake.
Yeah. Yeah. That's still pretty impressive. The dude caught 82 pounds.
Kelly?
Yeah.
He got it dialed in.
Yeah. Did you see how, stained, muddy, not very clear water on Lake Jordan? But, man, they caught the fire out of him yesterday.
Yep. And Andy, who we'll talk to, is in position. I think he's, in 26th place? Yeah. In really good position to make a move and move on. That's the
4 pounds out.
One thing we've seen, there is
drama.
There's no one out of this thing.
Plenty of drama.
Yep.
That's where the drama is. 15th to 25th, 26th, right in that range. Who's going to make a move? Who's going to fall down? Maybe everything will stay the same. I don't know. So what do? Do you put cameras, and I don't even know what they're going to do, obviously. Do you put cameras in the top-tiered guys, or do you put select cameras, live feeds, in guys' boats that have a chance to either fall or rise to make that top 20 cut?
I think you got to put the cameras with the top guys to start the day out, and then as the first and second period evolves and you learn who the players are going to be surrounding the cut line, then in the third period you get in those boats of the guys.
Move the cameras.
Yeah, because Andy Montgomery could jump up into the top 5 and then it's no longer compelling. He could drop down to 35th, then it's no longer compelling. So it doesn't make sense to put him in those middle of the road guys' boats in the first couple periods because there is so much fluctuation in the standings.
Well, and everybody has that power-up unit, I don't know what they call, in their boat so that the cell service is not an issue. So very mobile, very easily obtained to find guys and then make the switch and go from one boat to another. So I still wish, what are your thoughts on this? I wish that they would let us know, and maybe they did. I did not look at the website this morning, who they're going to have cameras on.
I don't know if that's available.
Yeah.
I know they'll have them on everybody at some. I know they've got an email list that comes out before the event that says, hey,
that's
you're
the first round, though, right?
Yeah. For
but
each of the first rounds.
It would be nice to know who and who's going to have a camera with them. I mean, if there were certain anglers that I like to follow, that I like to see what's going on and what they do, I would be very interested. That would be a good thing to throw out either on the website, throw it out on social media. Hey, we're going to have a camera with Andy Montgomery tomorrow, or whatever the case is. Good idea, bad idea? What are you doing?
I know that they know because I know you could talk, like I think Fred Rambanis came out. I'm looking at the standings. I learned that Fred Rambanis came out with the deal, like, hey, I'm going to have a live camera tomorrow. Tune in to watch me. So I know that the anglers know.
Yeah. Were you surprised by Kelly's weight?
No, I mean, they dialed...
Come on, dude. 82 pounds?
No, they dialed up. I mean, I was surprised that they caught him as good as they did, but all the research and everyone that was talking, I mean, they dialed up a lake that average...
Marty Stone was talking up the place, and he said, I believe he said Falls is better.
Yeah, well, the average fish was, I mean, over 3 pounds. So when you're catching that, the weight racks up. I mean, look at the largest fish. His largest fish was 6, a 9, an 8, 8, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Heavy 6s. I mean, the average fish was big. There are numerous guys that,
It is that time of the year.
Their best 5 would be of well over 25.
It is that time of the year. All right, I want to switch. In case you haven't heard or you don't know, Matt is going to be hosting on Saturday and Sunday the FLW Live stuff from the studio there in Kentucky. And
co-hosting.
Co-hosting.
With Travis Moran.
Yeah. Man, you kind of interrupted me and lost my train of thought.
Corrected you.
Are you not hosting?
Yeah, co-hosting.
You're still hosting, though, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. Jeez. All right. Yesterday we had Casey Scanlon on, and the one thing when I was putting the replay together and doing some stuff, I noticed that he said he talked about the big fish. You're not going to catch that many, but when you get one, it's going to be a really, really good one. So based upon the interview that we had yesterday from Casey, I want your prediction, early prediction. You've got a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge this time of the year up there. How much weight is it going to take over 85 to win?
It'll take between 80 and 85, I think. I actually, and I'm going to save this for the FLW show, Mark. But I actually spoke with Billy Lemon for probably 25, 30 minutes last night.
Really?
Yeah. Guy who had 27 pounds last week.
Tease us. Give me a little pinch.
Didn't go down the way you would expect it to go down.
Really?
Yeah, there's a tease.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So did he give you a weight?
No, he didn't give me a weight.
He didn't give you a prediction or anything? And folks, in case you don't know who this gentleman is, he
caught a 12-12 a couple years ago. Yeah. He's very well known as Fish Grand for 20 years. Really solid in the team tournaments and the individual tournaments. Yeah. He can like chop wood with a butter knife. He's that strong.
He's pretty good. That's really good. In fact,
I didn't talk to him for like the first 3 years I knew him. I was like, that guy.
You were scared of him, weren't you?
Rip me in half. He's a pretty nice guy.
You were afraid of him though, weren't you?
Terrified.
He's a big dude.
Big dude.
Yeah, he's ripped too. I mean, he's got some guns on him.
Yeah.
Big dude.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Wow, half an hour. You have changed, Grasshopper. You have become a little more outgoing.
Yeah.
And that's a good move on your part because he would know. Have you talked to anybody else?
I've got a couple guys lined up today to talk to. It's the off day for the FLW guys, and then a couple of the other guys who had top 10 finishes in the Skeeter XFL last weekend on Grand.
Yeah, I'm getting confirmation from Matt that, yes, Falls is better. So we'll see. Ooh. I mean, they absolutely smashed him Caught a lot of fish yesterday, and other guys struggled. So it'll be interesting. It's the first time we've done this, folks, where we have one of the MLF anglers on during their off day to where they can talk a little bit about what they did right, what they did wrong, what they might change. But at the same time, it's a unique situation where they will not be fishing Lake Jordan anymore. They move on to fall.
So, yeah, he can give up all the juice on what he thought about Jordan.
Yeah. All right, man. What else? Anything else? Did you see anything overnight or after we left the studio that you wanted to discuss? Nothing?
No. I'm honestly, like, when I'm out of the studio, I'm trying to get ready for this next, 3 weeks of my life.
Well, you're back for a week, though. You're gone for a week, and then you're back for a week.
Well, I do the FLW thing, then I fish the Costa.
Yeah, and then you're back for a week.
Right.
And then you're gone for a week.
Then I head to Gunnersville.
Yeah.
But in between that off week, I'm going to try to sneak in a trip to Table Rock.
Oh, okay.
Because that's the first month of May. I've got the Costa there. And then as soon as I get back, I'm going to try to sneak in a trip to Sardis. Because I got my butt kicked at the Vast Nation there before. So
yeah, different time of the year. They were spawning. It was totally different. So, well, good for you. All right. You're still planning on doing shows that week, though, aren't you?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be.
All right. I wanted to make sure. All right. I want to tell everybody I have one show lined up for next week. Pretty cool. After we did the deal with Casey Scanlon yesterday, I had the idea it would be cool to be able to do that with somebody over on the Elite Series when they were practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through my list. I came across a couple names. The first name that I came to, gave him a call, and he said, absolutely, would love to do it. So Hank Cherry is going to be live from the water, from Lake Hartwell on Tuesday.
Good one. That's a good one, Mark.
Exactly.
That's a real good one.
I had that highlighted on my little call sheet.
And you should have good service at Hartwell.
Should have good service. So we're going to have Hank Cherry live from Lake Hartwell on Tuesday of next week, kind of preview what's going to go down at Lake Hartwell. And man, he's got to be one of the favorites, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. I mean, there's a number of rookies and new guys, Brandon Cobb, Patrick Walters, Todd Otten. There's, then the finesse guys, depending on how it shakes out. But yeah, Hank would definitely be in the top 10, especially if there's a herring spawn that's going on with the jerk bait and the soft jerk bait, his familiarity with that part of the country. That's a top 10 get, Mark. I'm impressed.
All right. And then still working on the remainder of the week. Hopefully we get Brian Latimer on. That is my other goal.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Like, dude, the guy's still booked. And I apologize. I didn't mean to jump down your throat about the format. I'm sorry, Mark. I got a little fired up
man.
over the 6 days of the
I'm
format.
old. I forget things.
We're on the same page now. Everything's happy. I owe you an apology for that. I got frustrated for no reason. I don't know why I got so frustrated that you didn't understand it.
You have a busy 3 weeks there. You're a little tense. You're a little tight. A little nervous. No reason to be nervous, dude. You're going to knock it out of the park. All right. We're going to come back with Andy Montgomery here on a Wednesday. Find out what's going on and his take on what went down on Lake Jordan yesterday. And more to come right here on a Wednesday. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Sleek new design with easy control file. The clearest images underwater with uncompromising range. Live mapping from the touchscreen. View notifications, video, even Google Maps on screen. And for the first time ever, real-time view of fish movements with live sight sonar. HDS Live. New from Lowrance.
It's about the hours spent getting everything just right. It's the attention to detail. Good just isn't good enough. It's the years spent on the water day after day. When you tie on a bait by Strike King, you're standing on the shoulders of legends.
Pros depend on hydraulic jack plates to get the best out of their boats. Do what they do. Demand Atlas performance. Atlas gets you from the bottom to the top in less than 8 seconds, even with the big 4 strokes. And when you gotta turn right around and get that heavy load back up in rough water, Atlas's innovative design and American-made components will get you there with confidence.
I'm at Depot. Just look for yourself. There's an Atlas jack plate on just about every professional's boat.
The Atlas hydraulic jack plate. You can depend on it.
Hey guys, Aaron Martins here. I'm going to be telling you about a new product by Sunline. It's Siglon PE x8. I've been using it almost extensively all year for my frogging, flipping, drop shotting, shaky heading, worming, jerk baiting. It's by far my favorite Sunline braid. I honestly, I don't say this unless I think it's true, but honestly it's the best braid in the market out of any of the braids. Definitely check it out. It's a price point line, $14.95 for 165 yards, and that could last you a whole year, just one spool with using leader material. Again, it's Siglon PE x8. It's my favorite braid, and I think if you use it, it'll be your favorite braid too. AFCO has a new foul weather rain suit called the Hydronaut. A lot of the features that I really like about it first is the speed vent hood. If it's raining out, you know, how a person gets wet is when you run down the lake and the hood comes down. With the speed vent hood, it's going to stay up. It has a camera mount in the pocket on the chest. The Hydronaut has a 2-layer, 100% waterproof nylon shell. If you're interested in a rain suit that has a lot of cool features that's going to keep you dry, you need to check out the Hydronaut from AFCO.
All right, we are back, closing out the week here on a Wednesday. We will be back on Monday, and the weather's getting good, Matthew.
Yeah, they're catching them all over the state finally.
Yeah.
So maybe not that great at Grand from what I've been seeing on the FLW website, but they're apparently catching them in North Carolina too, because heard a lot of under the radar whining and complaining about Lake Jordan and how it's just going to be a bite or two to get you through. And yeah, they proved otherwise.
They caught them pretty good yesterday. And for the first time since we've been doing this show and the formation of the BPT, we're going to have a guest on. We're going to have Andy on to talk about his day one during his off day. And I want to see what he has to say about this.
He could say whatever the heck he wants to, because they're not going back to that place.
I would think so. So let's bring him in. Andy, you there, man?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm sitting in the truck looking out there thinking how cold it is.
How cold is it?
I think it was in the low 30s this morning. So today we can ride around Sharon Harris. So that's where I'm at Sharon Harris, just sitting in the truck.
Which is where the top 10 will be, which you have to get through the round tomorrow in the top 20 and then get through the round of 40 to then make it to Sharon Harris.
Correct.
That's a long process.
It is.
Yeah, you're there for. Is that why you've got 90 shirts on hangers behind you? Because it takes a week and a half to complete the whole stage?
Yeah. Well, actually, our trucks don't go home. Sometimes my truck may be on the road for 2 months. I go home, but my truck stays wherever.
Is every article of clothing on a hanger? Like, that's legitimately, like, folks, that is a full-size truck if you're listening to this on iTunes, and it is packed from one side to the other with neatly pressed hanging shirts.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive wife, huh?
That's very nice. Very nice. All right, Andy, let's talk about day one. But before I get into that, I want to ask your opinion. Do you like having this off day?
Yes and no. I mean, it's yes, because it gives you a chance to get your tackle done, and stuff like that, and then no, because you can get bored. So it's like, it's one of them deals where I could argue both ways. I could argue that we don't need an off day and convince you of that, and then I could turn around and argue that we do need an off day and convince you of that. So it's got its good and its bad.
All right, Kelly Jordan, 82 pounds yesterday, just a phenomenal day. You had and put yourself in position. You're only 4 pounds out of the cut. What can you tell us? What went right? What went wrong? What would you have changed from yesterday?
I probably wouldn't have moved around as much as I did. I caught them 2 back-to-back big fish, and they was on willow trees, and they was right on the base of a willow tree. So I tried to run around and do that, and that didn't work. And this place is just so flooded that I think you just needed to put yourself in an area and really fish instead of try to run a pattern. It's really, really hard to pinpoint and find something to focus on, if that makes sense. There's just so much in the water at Jordan. Now we're going to falls where you can't find nothing to throw at. So it's amazing these lakes are so close, and they're so different right now as far as water levels.
How did that practice period work then? Did you have one day on one of them and one day on the other? Could you decide to split it up to do whatever you wanted to?
It was up to us, yes. So we had 2 days. You do what you want to do. If you want to spend both days on one lake, that's fine. If you want to, split them up, which is what I did, 1 day on each. So it was totally up to us. You just had 2 days, go at it. If you want to fish half a day on one and half a day on the other one, and do the same thing the next day, you could do that.
So we were talking about this a little before. Which do you expect to be better? I mean, do you think a guy like Kelly, who had 80 pounds, is safe for the elimination if he doesn't catch another fish? Is it going to be another deal where everyone averages 4-pounders? Are we going to see more 9-pounders caught?
Yeah, I think historically Falls actually has bigger fish in it. So you're going to see some more big ones caught. Falls was a little better for me practice-wise. But Kelly's safe for sure. I mean, I hadn't really studied the results, but I'm gonna say probably the top 5 or so are pretty safe. But this could be one where you'd see a lot of flip flopping. A guy may not be on anything at Falls or at Jordan, and then catch them at Falls, and vice versa. So typically, when you go back out on the same lake, a lot of times the guys that caught them catch them again, because they know what's going on. They ain't clueless like I was, just flailing around out there. So there's going to be a lot of flip-flopping. Falls has really, really big fish. Now, Falls has been getting a ton of pressure because Jordan's been so high that even the locals hadn't been able to fish. So, that could factor in, the fish are a little more beat up over there than they was at Jordan. But hey, I didn't expect them to catch what they caught at Jordan. That's for sure. I mean, they just slacklined them. It was incredible. I mean, it was really incredible. I had 3 bites at Jordan in practice. I had 4 at Falls, so 4 Falls was way better. I had 4 versus 3.
Wow. Any experience on these bodies of water? Have you ever been there, Andy?
No, I hadn't. And that's one. Mark Davis wrote some letter to his younger self. Well, I'm not that old, but that's one regret that I have, is I didn't spend enough time on area lakes. I don't know. I don't think it's come out yet, but we filmed a Major League Fishing that'll come out later on at Baden, Tillery, and them lakes over there, which is, only an hour from here, only an hour and a half from my house. I had never spent any time over there. I had no clue how good them lakes were. I'd heard about these lakes, but this is only 2.5 hours from my house, and I just didn't spend any time over here. That's a big regret of mine. I really focused on Wiley and Norman, and just always look for a tournament to fish. So, you know, when you tournament fishing, you kind of stay at home or where you're comfortable at.
These lakes, obviously close to a metropolitan area, do they get a lot of pressure?
Oh my Lord, this weekend was unbelievable out here.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I fished Falls on Sunday, and it was incredible the amount of fishing pressure it was getting, and I heard Jordan was the same way. So, yes, they get a ton of pressure. One thing I noticed was the amount of kayak fishermen that was out here. It was incredible how many of them were out here, and I think a lot of that has to do with being, you know, close to the big cities like Raleigh and all. Guys don't have boats, but they just get kayaks, and a lot of them people was out here and just, you know, a lot of bass fishing.
One of the things that we talked about on the show leading into Stage 3 was not only the 3 lakes that were in play, the first time we've seen 3 different lakes, but also the fact that they were smaller fisheries than would typically be able to support a 100-plus boat tournament. You've now experienced practice. You've experienced a day of competition on it. Now, I'm sure there weren't 80 guys all on one lake practicing because you said you could split practice up however you wanted to, but just kind of break it down on that 10 to 15,000 acre fishery that's a lot smaller, about how that worked as far as being on top of each other in practice, and is that a great size moving forward that would then open up hundreds of other fisheries across the country that are similar sized?
Yeah, and I'm, you know, I'm really like that. This is turning out great, man. I mean, you know, we'd have never been able to have a tournament on Jordan, and you know, I know we don't do the 5-fish deal anymore, but you look at the 5-fish weights these guys caught. I mean, 30 would have been leading. 4 or 5 guys would have had over 28. And, you know, if we would have had a regular weigh-in, it would look like the best place we've ever been. I mean, it would be on par with Falcon and you know, Amistad and them places. So being able to go to these places is really, really cool. And, you know, like you guys, I mean, I'm sure y'all can think of places in Oklahoma right now that we could hold a 40-boat tournament that we couldn't hold, you know, a bigger event. And it just opens up so much more for us to do and for us to go to. And as far as fishing pressure on the lake, hey, I didn't fish around no boats yesterday. That's probably the reason I only caught 4 fish. But, you know, these places can swallow up 40 boats pretty easy. And, you know, I know some lakes at home like that. So it just opens up so many more possibilities. You know, this format, 40 boats, that we can really experience these jewels, you know, these extremely good lakes.
Hey, Matt in North Carolina wants to know on the instant feedback, did you find the satellite?
Yeah, everybody keeps asking me about that satellite. No, I'm still looking for it. I got a little nervous. You know, I fish for a living, so I'm like, man, I better check on the season and bag limits before I go to killing satellites. They might take my hunting and fishing license forever if I shoot a satellite. So I decided just to do away with it.
Can you give us the background on that, the Cliff Note version?
The Cliff Note version was my clock was 10 minutes off at the Classic, so I was 7 minutes late. And at the weigh-in, you know, and when we checked it, it said invalid source. So, invalid satellite. I told them that I'd been dove hunting since I was 12 years old. I was going out there tonight, and I was going to find that satellite.
Yeah, I remember.
That's the Cliff Notes version. I basically got a 7-pound penalty because, you know, invalid source.
You handled that really well, by the way.
He did.
I mean, there's a number of other anglers who I don't think would have handled it with the grace and class with which you showed.
Yeah. Well, I said it again. It's cliche, but this sport, you just control what you can control. There's a lot we can't control. I couldn't control that. Yeah, I could have looked at my phone, you know, but, you know, I just didn't. So it is what it is.
All right. I want to ask you, is there a story behind your photo on the Major League Fishing website? It is the greatest.
Jeffries is obsessed with this.
It is the greatest individual, like, profile pic I think I've ever seen.
If you could mean mug him into the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what y'all talking about because we had some cards to sign. But yeah, they say mean face, smile. You know, they tell us all that. So yeah, I guess I'm trying to mean them into the boat.
But you're not a fighter though, right, Andy? You're a lover.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a lover. Well, you know, the camera guys, they say smile, so I smile, and they say serious, so I get serious, and then I guess they thought my serious looked better than my smile. I don't think my mama would agree with that.
Wait. So there were multiple options that they could have taken. They could have taken a happy, like jovial Andy Montgomery photo. So they took that one, and then they said, let's see the mean mug, and then they did that. So someone sitting in an office somewhere, probably in Tulsa, chose that one.
Yep. Y'all don't work for them. Maybe y'all chose it.
No. Not at all.
No, there's some other good mean mugs on there too. I mean, it's not like 79 smiling guys and Andy Montgomery.
Now, I want to go back to your early years, and Matt before the show was talking about the first time that he interviewed you was at an FLW event. What year was that, Matt?
2008 Tellico Loudon. You had a top 10. You were having a hell of a season, and I remember I was interviewing you, and you were like the hot young gun on tour who was trying to go the entire season, cashing a check in every event.
Yeah. 2008, huh? So, yeah, we're getting old. Wow.
How old are you now?
I'm 36.
Yeah, and I'm about to turn 30. I turn 35 in a couple months, so we're basically the same age. Because I remember I was telling Mark, I was like, "Oh, here's a guy in his young 20s who's tearing up the tour."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was. So I started my career in FLW, and then the first year that we was able to fish the Opens, they used to overlap big time. So the first year we was able to fish the Opens, I fished them. I qualified in. There's 4 or 5 of us from FLW had qualified through the Southerns that year. We all left, and that was the first year that every year since then, they've been 4 or 5 guys leave, qualify for the elites, and now we've evolved into the Major League Fishing thing.
So how did you get into it, Andy? And what I mean by that is, did you start fishing team tournaments and then just kind of went from there?
Yeah, so growing up, my dad and grandpa, I called them worm draggers. That's what we did. We went to the lake on Saturday mornings and drug a Texas rig worm and a lizard. And I just growed up, reading the magazines and getting interested in tournament fishing, and that's what I did. I fished a lot of team tournaments, played a lot of sports in high school, so I didn't have a lot of time to fish the tournaments. Every now and then I would, but as soon as I graduated high school, that's what I did. I went to fishing tournaments and had a lot of success locally, and just was consumed by fishing. I was just consumed by it, and just kind of worked my way up through the team tournaments. I actually, back in the day, it was pretty hard to get in FLW, so I fished a division of the Everstarts and a co-angler, trying to get a top 10 guaranteed spot. And I won the co-angler division, the points title. So that's how I got into FLW. Quit work, scariest day of my life, and the rest is history.
So when you were a co-angler, can you remember the first event that you fished as a co-angler, who your professional was?
It's Bill McDonald. First day, Lake Okeechobee.
How did that go?
I had one break my chatterbait, like a giant. An absolute giant, break my chatterbait. Me and Bill still talk about it to this day. But, I had a good day. That was, I was fortunate because the guys that actually invented the chatterbait. And, we hear a lot about knockoffs and whatever, but, it's all a knockoff of the original, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Ron Davis, I think y'all did a deal with him, Ron Jr. and Senior. I became good friends with them. So I had chatterbaits when I was a co-angler, and let me tell you, I had some pros spinning their heads because I had a chatterbait and they didn't. And that was the year Brian won at Okeechobee. So guys, we're still kind of learning it. I think we was way ahead of the curve on what we knew it could do. So yeah, I remember at Pickwick, Mark Pack was flipping cypress trees. And he'd flip upside them cypress trees, and then I'd throw that chatterbait beside the same cypress tree and just smoke one. And he was head deep in his front box looking for that one chatterbait he had bought. And so that happened all year. That was a big reason why, the chatterbait's been very instrumental in my career. Ron and his dad both helped me and Brian get started financially. So we probably wouldn't be here without them. And two, I qualified into the FLW Tour a lot because of the chatterbait, because I had it and I understood what it would do, and my pros didn't. So I caught a ton of fish behind my pros on the chatterbait. So it's just been very instrumental in my career.
Wow, you go back to that first year he fished as a co-angler. He had a 4th place finish, a 6th, a 16th, a 2nd, and then also a 2nd in the Tour Championship that year.
Knocked it out of the park, man.
Yeah, I had a lot of them seconds.
Hey, they still paid $10,000 though.
Yeah, hey, I won. This is kind of fast forward, but I was fishing FLW, and Brian New was leading the co-angler, and he drawed me at Kentucky Lake the last tournament. And I know Brian New. I think y'all might know him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great little fisherman, and he's like, he was really nervous. He wanted to win the points title. I'm like, man, what do you get for winning the points title? He said, I get a boat. I said, a boat? I got a lifetime supply of butter when I won the co-angler. You talking about fishing for a boat?
That was the Lando Lakes deal, wasn't it?
Man, I want a lifetime supply of Lando Lakes butter. Let me tell you, it's not a lifetime supply because we ain't got no more of it.
Wait, how does that happen?
A lifetime supply for one person because I think my mama, my sister, and everybody else could get their hands on them butter coupons and done eat all that butter.
Wait, so you just got like X number of coupons, or like a truck of butter showed up every year in January, or how does that work?
If I remember right, somehow they calculated, in the corporate world, they can calculate anything. So I guess they can calculate how much butter you're going to consume in your lifetime. And if I remember right, we got like $2,500 or $5,000 worth of free butter. And that's a lifetime supply. And
you ran through all that butter in less than a decade?
Yeah, well, not me personally, but I had a lot of help. Hey, everybody likes butter, right?
I cannot believe that. I've never heard of such a thing. That's pretty.
For a boat, Montgomery's fishing for some butter. Salted butter.
New said, I get a boat, man, and I know Brian. How much that meant to him. Because he would be trying to. It's a great way to get started, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, dude. I had butter. You can't pay no entry fees with butter.
It's like hard to convince your pro to like let you get a cast in when you're fishing for butter, as opposed to fishing for a boat. I could just see you like trying to tell Jim Tutt, "Hey man, can you angle it out? I'm fishing for Lando Lakes here." I'm just going,
But back to the chatterbait, they didn't have to let me get a cast in because I could let them fish whatever they wanted to fish, and then I could throw something in there different. So. That's how that worked out.
Wow. Hey, David in Wisconsin wants to know, who do you think is the best chatterbait angler on any of the tours?
The best well, obviously Brett Hite gets a lot of credit for it, so he'd be hard to argue. But hey, I know a lot about it, man.
Did you throw it? Did you throw it this week?
I did. I didn't catch any on it this week, but yes, I did throw it.
Are you under the Thunder Cricket now?
I know, the Thunder Cricket. I know a lot about what makes it work, So I hear guys say some stuff, and I know 100% it ain't true. Hey, Ron Davis Sr., didn't y'all do a deal with him?
Yeah, the documentary.
Dave Rush went there and talked to him. And
yeah, this cat, he knows so much about why a bait works, like blade thickness and just pull points and just little bitty things that makes a big difference. And he's taught me a lot of that. So I hear guys say some stuff and I know it ain't true.
All right, like what? Like what? You don't got to say who's saying it, but what is some of the biggest BS stuff you hear about a chatterbait where you just go, come on, man? Yeah,
like it's got to hit the head. That's BS. A thicker blade's gonna thump harder. That's BS. It's just it's the pull point. Put an O-ring on it because you know, you won't straighten out that clip, well, go ahead and put a O-ring on it. It ain't gonna thump as hard. You got to get a hard fixed line tie away from the eyelet, away from where it connects to the blade. So just a lot of different stuff.
All right, I want to ask you this, Andy. The MLF rules, like if you were able and willing to talk about what you did yesterday and, you know, what you used, what you kind of targeted, you guys can't look at the internet and you can't watch anything. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, we can't watch video. That's all being hashed out. But right now, we just can't watch video. We can look at score tracker and we can look at photos, which I don't like, but we can.
Okay.
So we just can't watch any video.
So would you be willing to talk about what you did yesterday, kind of what you tried to target, what you used? Is that something, since you're not going back to Jordan, that you could talk about?
Yeah. I caught only 4 fish. I hope they all go out there and try it. That way But, you know, my game plan going into it was to, you know, crank boat ramps. You know, there's a lot of boat ramps on the lake. And that went over like a turd to punch bowl. I didn't catch any. So then I just went fishing around, just put the trolling motor down, and I caught, like I say, I caught a big one off a willow tree, and then I caught another big one off a willow tree, both on a jig, you know, skipping a jig way up to the base of the willow tree. And then I couldn't make that work. So my last big one I caught, I'm just going down the bank, and I see a big old piece of concrete under the water, and I flip a jig over on that concrete and catch a 4-pounder. So I really didn't have anything figured out, nothing. I just kind of lucked my way into 16 pounds, and hopefully I can, you know, do a little better at falls.
How do you feel about falls based upon your practice?
Not very good. So basically my practice, I went to falls. I did not get a bite. I did not get a single bite until 3:30. And then from 3:30 to 6:30, I had 4 bites, you know, and it's kind of a spawning type deal. And then I went to Jordan and I got 3 bites in the first 30 minutes. I'm thinking, man, this lake's a lot better than falls, and I never got another bite. So
wow.
that was practice for me in a nutshell. And now, you know, in these deals, because of the limited time, you really don't force something. You know, you get an idea and you hope you can run with it in the tournament, and you hope that idea becomes a reality. And that's what I got going into falls. You know, I got an idea. You know, I hope it becomes a reality to where, you know, the 4 bites I got was very similar. So hopefully they turn into, you know, if I do it all day, I can get 12 or 15 bites. You know what I mean? So you never know what you got based on practice. But these deals, especially when we split it up into 2 lakes, you really didn't, I don't know what the word is, press something or really see how far, you know, something would go once you got a clue. You know, you got to expand on it in the tournament.
I just have kind of one more question, and I've enjoyed watching you fish the Major League Fishing and all the TV shows at Major League Fishing, too, so you kind of have an understanding of how this works. We saw you catch a 9-pounder at Conroe. You've had some success in this format. You're buddies with a bunch of guys out here, a lot of guys who are new to it now, into the 3rd stage. How many of the 80 guys do you think have an idea, have it kind of figured out, the shorter practice, the multiple stages, the zeroing of the weight? How many you think have it figured out, and what percentage of these guys are still trying to figure out what the best method to attack this new format is?
Man, I'm sure probably half of them still trying to figure out how to attack it. But in reality, you attack it the same way you always have. I mean, you just do. And you don't see a lot of the Major League Fishing tournaments won on shaky heads or wacky worms. You just don't do it. I mean, you know, I'm sure some of them have been, but you look at the ones on TV, you still fish for the same type of fish. You still do the same stuff. You know, you just let it all fall into place. So I think a lot of these guys may be trying to change and trying to adapt. I'm not sure you do that. You know, I think you just do what you always done.
And based on some of the stops that have been announced, what Andy likes to do with a white jig around docks, it will be interesting to watch him do what he has always done.
Yeah. I mean, that could be, that's something I'm good at, and it's something that could be good in this format for sure. Because you get a lot of bites, and you can put yourself in position to catch a big one too. But you're still swimming a jig, Not like you're not fishing for bites. You almost let the little ones come. It's not like letting the big ones come. You let the little ones come. You fish like you always have.
Interesting.
And you guys know this. You fish a team tournament. Most time you weigh in 20 pounds. Well, what did you call? The last fish you called was like a 2-1 or 2-2 probably. Ott had 20 the first day at the Classic. The last one he called was a 180. You know what I mean? So it's like yesterday, a 5-fish limit, it would have looked incredible. It'd be like them guys just flat smashed them. And they did, but they got 6 or 7 bites all day. So I think you don't change anything. It is what it is, and you'll still end up in the same places if you just don't change.
You ready to get out on Sharon Harris?
It still looks cold out there, man. Them pines. Oh, dang. I'm getting be a weenie in my old age, I think.
Oh, see, Matt? See, you rag on me all the time about fair weather fishermen and all that and everything.
Yeah, but he's still going out. He's just bitching about it. You don't go out.
Yeah.
Hey,
I got one question. How about that Duke game, Mark?
It was incredible. He's talking about the Duke UCF game, one of the best basketball games I've seen in a long, long time. Did you fill out a bracket, Andy?
No, I didn't. I only got to see the last minute, but I'm still trying to figure out how Duke won. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I know. It was just unreal, and I am a fan of Taco Fall, the 7'6" guy from UCF. Pretty amazing when you look at all the people that have came through college and through the NBA that have been over 7'4". Most of them have been outstanding. It's going to be really interesting to see how he makes it in the NBA.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Had he not gotten foul trouble, I'm not sure the game would have been close.
No, just a half of a rim, Andy. That's what kept Duke from not moving on. A half of a rim.
He knows all about it. A half of a second, and a nine pounder doesn't count a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Hey, in the end, now we didn't know it at the time, and in the end, the 9 really didn't matter. I got big fish, so I got paid for that. But I would have still finished in the same place at the end of the tournament.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that you're going to have to answer about all year, because that's what the fans are going to remember every time they come up to you. You got to have those moments to get the name behind it, and that was one of those moments.
Yeah, it was. Guys, a lot of people's asked me would have got more press if he wouldn't have counted. I'm like, I'm not sure, but I ain't sure I want to know.
Hey, one last question from the instant feedback. Jake in Ohio wants to know, how good do you think that Brian Thrift would be in the MLF format?
If they let him practice, he'd be extreme. He'd be good, period. But obviously, I've spent a lot of time with Brian. We fished team tournaments together. A lot of people ask what separates Brian and all that. A lot of things, but one of the main things, he's the best practice guy on tour, on any tour. He knows how to practice, number one. And he's the best. This is what you probably don't know, is he's the best with electronics that there is, period. He's the best there is with electronics. And he kind of has this persona of smoke on the water and flying down the bank. Hey, he's evolved. I'm too dumb to evolve. I still fish just like we did in our team days. I still fly down the bank. He don't do that much anymore. He don't. He calls me all the time, man, I don't know how to fish the bank anymore. I'm like, what you want to fish the bank for, dude? Go look at your bank account. What you complaining didn't catch one on. You know what I mean? But that's so to the question, if they let him practice, he would be hard to handle. I'm telling you, it'd be hard to handle, because he finds these places that you catch one every cast, and he knows if he can catch a limit, then the rest of the day will fall into place. So he'd definitely be hard to handle if he got to idle around out there and look at them electronics. It'd blow. I mean, it's painful for me. I've been with him. We went to Murray back when my dad and his partner was fishing, and we went practicing on Murray. We idled for 10 hours. We might have made 40 casts all day. It's just painful. But at the end of the day, there was 2 places where we'd catch them every cast. But 9 hours and 55 minutes of that day was painful.
Wow. Did you guys ever lose?
Did we? Yeah, we lost. Man,
to who?
Well, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, we lost some. We won our share of them, though. There was times when he would just idle me dock to dock. We wouldn't even put a trolling motor in the water. He'd just stay on the big motor and just idle me dock to dock.
And you just skip up there and catch him, and then you'd go to the next one, and you just skip up there and catch him?
Yeah.
So can you end with a story from that time that you guys fished a team tournament that was either funny or memorable or something that sticks in your mind about your team tournament days with him?
Something that sticks in my mind about my team tournament days. I think I was fishing somewhere. He wasn't fishing. And he'd actually went and practice on Wiley. And he called. He wanted to know. Well, there's 2 stories. All right, one was Lake Hickory. He had figured out this deal at Lake Hickory. He's like, hey, let's go fish this tournament. And I said, what do I need to do? He said, you just need to hold the net. And that's about what it was. I mean, it was over really quick. And another one was at Lake Wiley. He had went and practiced, and it was spawning time, So I'm like, you looking for him on the bed? So he looked all day. He's like, I seen 1 4-pounder, but we ain't gonna need him. I'm like, what? And anyway, it was the best dock bite we've ever been on. It was unbelievable. We went and caught that 4-pounder off the bed, and then he shot me over to a dock, and he said, get up there and throw on that dock. And I shot my jig on there and caught like a 6-pounder. We crunk up and went to the next dock, and he didn't even get out of the sea. He said, throw under that dock, and I caught like a 5-pounder. And it was just it was an incredible dock bite, that's for sure. I forget what we had that day, like 27 or 28. It was 6 fish, but it was, so just a few of them days.
Wow.
We lost a boat one time, like when we was both broke as a joke. I guess that's the bad memory. We lost by like 12 ounces or something. Lost a couple big fish. So.
All right, man.
I got one more story. You got me thinking. We got time for this one more?
Yeah. Oh, keep going, man.
So we had this jig. It was called crawdad. That's what I don't know how much money we won on this color called crawdad that our buddy Louie had made. And Brian had this new jig called watermelon pumpkin. He's all about this watermelon pumpkin. So we're fishing for a boat, right? And it's like a Ranger, like a $40,000 boat. He throws this watermelon pumpkin all day. I done caught like 4 to 5 fish we got in the live well behind him on crawdad. I'm like, dude, would you put that freaking watermelon pumpkin down? So he finally puts it down. And the last dock we fished, he loses like a 4-pounder, got hung up on a little chain that would have won the tournament for us. But anyway, I'm like, yeah, if you throw that crawdad all day, we'd have won that $40,000 boat. And like I say, we was broke as a joke. I mean, so that would have been
wow.
He ain't broke, that's for sure.
No, he is not. All right, man. I can't thank you enough, Andy, for taking time out on your day off, and wish you nothing but the best. I do want to ask you, though, do you have Duke winning the whole thing?
No, I got Carolina.
Okay.
What kind of question is that? My grandpa don't know what internet is, but if somebody told him I picked Duke to win, he'd kill me. Right. No, we Carolina.
All right.
Experience. Remember this. Experience always comes through in March Madness.
All right.
Team full of freshmen never win.
All right. We shall see, man. We may have to go a gentleman's bet on that one because I think Duke's going to get it done.
Oh, can he see? Show him what you won.
What?
Show him what you won in the last gentleman's bet.
Oh. Can you see this? I don't know if you can see.
That's an OG Vixen, the original Vixen from back in the day.
Yeah. Who'd you bet on that?
Guy from Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fan from Alabama. He took Alabama.
We met him at the Classic.
Minus,
it was 14.
Yeah.
And it was 13.
Yeah.
So you covered.
So I covered.
And he had to send an original Vixen to Jeffries. That was a hell of a bet.
Yeah, it really was. Hey, we ought to do some bets, so maybe I could get that Vixen.
All right. No. Hang on. All right, I'll go Duke for a Vixen. What are you going to put up? Carolina and what?
I don't know. I got to think about it.
That's got to be. That's
it
pretty
is an
substantial.
original.
That's like $100 eBay bait.
Yeah.
Mark. I don't want to say that. I don't know how much it could. It could go for 20. The last time I said something about eBay, I got a bunch of hate emails of people who are like, "Why are you driving up the prices?"
Original wiggle wart.
A what?
A wiggle wart. I can't say it. You know what I'm talking about. One of them things y'all like out there.
What color?
I don't know. What's a good color?
Watermelon craw.
Phantom craw.
Phantom craw.
I got about 6 or 8 of them. And you can tell me which one you want.
That may have to go 2 for 1 though.
That's fine.
All right. 2 for 1. All right. I'm taking Duke. You're taking North Carolina.
But taking them what? To see who goes farther or if they meet each other?
No. Who wins the tournament? If neither one wins the tournament, It's a push.
Okay, so if Carolina wins the tournament, the Vixen goes from Alabama to Oklahoma to South Carolina. And if Duke wins the tournament, the Vixen stays in Oklahoma.
And I get 2 wiggle warts.
2 wiggle warts go from South Carolina back to Oklahoma, where they were made like 15 minutes from here.
Yeah.
That's right. They probably came from Oklahoma to start with.
Norman.
Right?
Somebody said, put up some of that butter in the bet.
Yeah.
I'm okay on the butter there, Andy. All right, dude, man. Best of luck to you the remainder of the week and the remainder of the season. Let's have you on again here in a few months. And I really, really am an Andy Montgomery fan, and I wish you nothing but the best, man.
All right, Mark. Appreciate it, guys.
All right. Take care, man.
All right, bud.
All right, there you have it. Andy Montgomery, great stories, great stuff.
That got good. I can't believe it. I know how much you love your Vixens.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in Duke.
Yeah, that's a pretty
2 wiggle warts?
Now, the chances are that one of you guys will have a chance to win one of each other's. I mean, you would think one of them would possibly make the final.
We'll see. All right, man. Are you ready? You got everything packed? You good to go?
What type of question is that?
I just thought I'd ask.
I don't even have the content from the Classic labeled yet, Mark. You think I'm packed and ready to go to Kentucky Lake?
Well, I thought you might have worked on it last night.
I did.
Is the boat ready?
I got a lot. Yeah, the boat's in pretty good shape. I've actually, before the whole year started, I got a lot of things in order. I really simplified stuff this year, so I don't have a ton of stuff to get ready. Stopped by Lucky Lure Tackle yesterday. Yeah. Only spent $100. I'm good to go. Okay. I just needed some spitter baits, and then of course I saw the mag draft in white, so I'm on the bandwagon too. Right. So I got a couple of those things, a couple red crankbaits. I'm good to go.
All right. I spelt your name right.
Yeah,
today.
Thanks. You know who texted me yesterday that was like, you spelled your name wrong? No, my dad.
Really?
Yeah.
It was not intentional.
No,
it really
I know.
wasn't.
Well, like I said, you misspelled your name in the one-on-one.
I know. I'm
Mark
an idiot.
Jefferies.
Jefferies? Happens all the time. Everybody probably thought it was right. No big deal. All right, man. As I mentioned, we're going to have Hank Cherry on next Tuesday.
Tuesday or Monday?
Tuesday.
All
right. Okay. Still working on getting Brian Latimer, and then hopefully we will have the winner of this MLF event on Monday. That's what we're shooting for.
Possibly the winner of the Grand Lake FLW event on Wednesday.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're going to shoot for from this point forward. And then we will continue working on, we mentioned the documentary that we're putting together called 49th. We will continue working on that. And our planned launch date for that is going to be April 29th. So that's what we're shooting for. A lot going on. And once again, I want to thank everybody for the show this week. A ton of people joining us for the first time. And hopefully you will continue to come back. Matthew, best of luck to you, man. And I know you're going to do well. Very, very familiar, and a lot of knowledge on Grand Lake. So looking forward what you and Travis do over the weekend from the Kentucky studios. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks, man.
Thanks, dude.
All
Looking
right.
forward to it. It's going to be fun.
What else? Anything else?
No, that's it.
That's it?
Andy brought it.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Andy really brought it.
We're going to have to get him on here in a couple months.
That was a good get.
Good stuff. All right, everybody, be safe. Try and get out, do a little fishing, and then we will talk to you on Monday right here on BTL. Everybody, stay tuned. We're out of here.